Faith within your hands. Oh, oh, oh. 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 Yeah. When you're thinking of giving up, oh no.
Welcome back, Creative Pois-On audience. We are here for another chapter of our series, #Creativity Will Save Us. Phase 2, we say when venues close, windows open, a much needed vision into the future as we navigate these turbulent times of the COVID-19 and the social and political turmoil we are all experiencing. Today, we have a very special guest. He was one of the protagonists of our web series, #Creativity Will Save Us. He is actor and teacher Anthony Michael Martinez, who is a regional and international actor, and also a teacher, as I was saying, and he's here today to present to you guys his new masterclass entitled Acting in Spiritual Principle. When Anthony contacted me about this new project, I was immediately intrigued, and because it just seemed like such an inspirational sort of like concept and perfectly attuned with what is our purpose here as Creative Pois-On and for our series #Creativity Will Save Us, because really throughout all these months we tried to understand from the point of view of the who works in the arts, what could have been the tools that we could have used to really break through this moment in time that is where everything was shutting down, and we're all experiencing different traverses, everybody in their own experiences, both professionally and personally. So I can't wait for Anthony to be on with us today and to explore this concept of his masterclass, and also, of course, the other projects that he is going to present to us today. So I will add Anthony to our stream. Just 1 second.
Hello, dear.
Hi, how are you?
We made it.
We did. Here we are.
We did.
It's
How's it
Friday.
going? Happy Friday.
Hi. Is this my first live? Can you see me properly or no?
Yes,
Okay.
I can see you properly. Yeah.
Hi.
Lovely background. It reminds me of the video that you sent to us for our show. Creativity Will Save Us was your quarantined Romeo.
It's exactly the same background.
It's exactly
the curtain and pretended like Juliet was over there across the aisle.
Of course. That's the art of acting, pretending.
How are you, Tommaso?
I'm very good, and actually we've never met in person, so this is really a new world, because this is the first time that we are interacting through an Insta live connection, but hopefully we'll meet in person as well.
We will.
So I'm very intrigued by your new masterclass, but first of all, I wanted to start the conversation by asking you, since we are talking about about creativity and how creativity can save us, and everything that we've been through this months, and what's also the state of affairs in the world and the entertainment business in this moment in time. So how have you been, and what are you doing in order to navigate this very uncertain situation as an actor?
Thank you. I'm doing well. First of all, thank you for asking. I think it's unique for everyone. For me, it's been this has been a really reflective time. This has been a time for me to pick up some books, particularly spiritual books. This is a time that, oh my God, just getting connected in the social world in terms of the political front that's going on right now.
Right.
So I think reaching out to my friends and trying to have an impact in that way has been a priority of mine. Long walks. I'm currently in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with my family, so I'm able to go on walks out and get sunlight, etc., and journal. And fortunately, I've been able to teach on the side. So I teach for New York Theater Workshop and Red Bull Theater Company and Classic Stage Company. And so now and then we have these workshops. So I'll go in and I'll do some remote learning workshops, whether it's on Shakespeare or with acting. And it's been fabulous. And the most rewarding experience, because it's providing a platform for these young students and artists to be creative and to connect. And that really compelled and inspired me to create this masterclass right now. And that has been my commitment in this time as well.
Right, because you've been you were saying like that you're interested in reading spiritual books, and then your masterclass is about acting in spiritual principles. So
Yes.
what can you tell us about this concept, spirituality and acting? How are they linked together?
I think they're exquisitely intermingled because of the nature of empathy. As actors, we need to be able to empathize with our characters, and I think that is an internal skill, that is a personal and vulnerable skill, and I think that this is an amazing, fun class where you get a chance to really dig deep into what that means for you as an artist. We're so busy trying to get the jobs and move around, etc. And this is a nice class that allows us to take a nice collective breath and to connect with each other and reinvigorate perhaps why we have chosen to do this in the first place. You know, I can't help but believe that art must reflect the current nature of our times. As Shakespeare says, hold up the mirror up to nature. And any other time, I think it's obvious that we need to connect and we need to come back to the soul of who we are and what we want to do in terms of healing and inspiring others. And I think a really important principle of that is to get in touch with how we think as actors. And that's so I have 3 principles, and the first one is my thoughts create my reality. The second one is acting is a calling, not a job. And the third one is give all and receive all. And essentially all of this is just creating a foundation for actors. It's not new concepts. It's just about spiritual practice and having a mentality and a foundation of those principles while we're engaged in this amazing bombastic industry that we do, right? So we can't help but, you know, there's auditions and self-tapes and all that, and it can be very unsettling and overwhelming. And I think when you have a principle to fall back on and a practice, man, you can stand in the storm and be able to handle anything. So that's what I'd like to offer, and that's what I'd like to practice myself.
Well, that's lovely. And I also believe that's not just for actors in a way. It could be also for anybody, right? Or is that you need to have sort of like acting, you know, training already in place to attempt the masterclass? Or is it for everybody?
I don't think so. This is a class, I mean, acting, and yes, it is a virtual acting class, right? So we will be looking at acting from a technical perspective in terms of voice training and movement and gesture. But at the same time, I love it that you brought that up, because it's also how these principles are universal in how we orchestrate our daily lives, how we move in and out, whether or not you are a CEO of a business company or you are a tennis player. You know, the way that I think internally is how I experience the world externally. And I think that it's easier said than done. And I like to say this thing where, you know, we do well to exercise our physical bodies. You know, if I'm not exercising, my muscles get a little flabby. But the same thing with spiritual practice, right? So if we're not exercising our minds, then we can be flabby when crap, and you know crap comes in every now and then. Someone will say a comment, it'll trigger you, or a deadline or whatever. And I think that these are helpful ways to keep us sane and connected to who we truly are.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Like I think that I would love to take your masterclass, because I think we all need it. Like in a way, yeah. Maybe I will. And you know, actually, I did acting before in my life. Then
You did?
yeah, so that was, it's very interesting what you just said, because for me, then I didn't become an actor because at a certain point, I believe that wasn't my true call. But those techniques and that I learned, or modern techniques, that attitude that I learned when I was doing the Academy of Dramatic Arts, really helped me discovering who I was and who I am as a person. So it was a cathartic sort of like moment for me. And I always thought that I invite everybody to try to go into an acting class, or maybe your master class, because it really helps you discovering who you are, and you're totally right. Our bodies connect with our minds, our spirit, and while you act, all of those three elements are intertwined. And if there's a blockages somewhere, you will discover it as you go in an acting class, further in an acting class. I discovered so many blockages that I didn't even know that I had,
Exactly.
So,
It's beautifully put. There, I'm one of many fabulous actors teachers out there who are bringing this to the forefront.
right.
So, of course, please join us, and I'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I invite all our audience to join. I see that people are joining right now. So if you have questions for Anthony, or specifics about the masterclass, or how to apply for it, please send over your questions. So what would it feel like to be in the masterclass? Like, technically, what happens at the beginning of the masterclass?
Sure. Well, I'd like to start my classes with creating a collective neutrality, a neutral space where it's just being connected with each other. You don't have to turn your camera on, you can, but the idea is that we get present with each other. So that's just absolutely fundamental to the work, is surrendering to the present and just having an open heart and open mind. And I don't want to reveal too much,
Right.
but I'd like this class to be interactive, right? So this is not a dogmatic or didactic class. This is about playing and really creating a platform for performers and auditors to interact with each other. So I'll have a couple of exercises where people will be able to work with each other. You can if you want. And then we'll talk about the principles, and then there'll be a Q&A. So it's a constant interactive experience where someone can be like, whoa, hold up, this is not how I understand it. So it's about the dialogue of kind of, what do we think about this? As I explained, there's just 3 principles. And then there'll be 4 performers who will present a 1-minute monologue. And we'll incorporate the principles, and also I'll give them constructive feedback. And then we'll do a reflection at the end. Also, that is the core structure, but I'd like it to be kind of open, because the students drive it, right? It kind of, I've had a whole lesson plan, and all of a sudden someone asks one question and it's reshaped the whole thing.
Right.
So this really is a platform for students and for anyone who wants to come on and to take material, or just to express themselves in a creative way, or to share their feelings when it comes to someone who wants to create, or just understand a deeper level of who they are and what they're up to in this world.
Of course.
Yeah, that's that sounds a bit intense, but it's a lot of fun. I love this stuff, so I'm excited about how it unfolds. Yeah.
And you should be, because it sounds very exciting. And also, they're asking you, where can we sign up? Yes, let's go. Where can they sign up for it?
Great, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So if you go to my bio and Instagram right now, there is a link. There's just one, and you'll hit that link, and it will take you directly to all information about the class and registration details. Alrighty, and I'm on Facebook as well, and I hope that maybe in this this is my first live, but perhaps you could maybe paste the link in here, so if people want to click it, they can.
Yeah. Are you able to comment on the page, or should I comment? But I can get out of this.
You seem so much better.
We'll do it later. We'll do it later. So I actually like this conversation will be then on our IGTV. So we can put the link there, so people can go and get it there.
Fabulous.
And also we'll have other versions of this conversation on a podcast. We have also our podcast. So there's plenty of ways for for people to get to know your masterclass and sign up for the masterclass.
Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful. And moving also into what's next for your career, like, and I'm curious to understand, because I know that you're a big Shakespeare actor, right? How do you see your career developing? I know that now we're talking about times that are not very exciting because we have the COVID. We are not back to theaters yet, but what are your desires? More theater, more classical theater, or you want to experiment yourself with more contemporary stuff? And do you also want to do movies?
My number one desire is to surrender to the present right now, which of course, realistically, there are somewhat limitations when it comes to COVID in terms of the work out there. But oh my God, yes, I'd love to do film. I'd love to do TV. Theater is my love and my passion. I have a master's in classical acting. Shakespeare is my absolute favorite. That's also something I've been reading throughout the pandemic as well. And so, I surrender to wherever I have fabulous agents at Wolf Talent who I trust in and who I self-tape, bring me in for self-tapes every now and then. So I don't really know so much as that's kind of the nature of where this class is coming from, as well as kind of the unknown and being able to let that be my career. While at the same time maintaining, I have my desires to be on stage. I'd love to go to Alabama Shakespeare and do the Comedy of Errors. The show got canceled. And if they're listening, either way, I'm just the idea of just going on stage and doing some Shakespeare sounds absolutely fabulous right now. So I don't know all of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
All of it.
Why
we have
not?
A question from David James Parr, who we know. I know it very personally.
Hey, David.
He's asking, hey, David, he's asking, which Shakespearean character would you most like to take on?
Richard II.
Richard II. Why?
Well, first of all, the poetry. This is the only Shakespeare play that's written in verse. So it's exceptionally gorgeous. But this character, I've always had a personal connection to him. And the journey that he takes throughout. And he's the boy king who learns to is stripped of this royalty and gets to the core of who he is. And I think it's a very, as just a man, you go from this man who was a king since I believe 7, 8 years old, who knows nothing other than he's divinely chosen. And then all of a sudden, even his family members betray him, and he has to still find some sense of dignity and understanding in the end, with himself and alone. And I find that Shakespeare does that with all these characters, but this one, the monologues and soliloquies are exceptional. And it's a beautiful journey between all the characters. I just love the character. It's crazy.
Have you ever played it, or it's missing from your, right?
I haven't, no, but it was my thesis project in grad school, and I find myself always reading it and obsessing about any production that is out there. Of that. Yeah.
So what do you think, like, film-wise, that's the best interpretation of that?
Ooh. Oh my God, Fiona Shaw had a gorgeous Richard II. David Tennant had a fabulous one at the RSC. I forget the name of it, but there was one that was released during the pandemic. There was this African-American production. It was all these beautiful...
African-American production. Well, I happen to have a computer here in front of me, so we can check it out. Richard III.
Richard II.
The second, sorry. Film 2020. Let's see.
It was so extraordinary, and I think they do it at the one of the.
Okay, let's see if it's this one that's popping up right now. No. I don't think so, because you said African American, and then definitely it's not this one.
I think Found out. Okay, so her name is Adjoa Andos, Richard II, makes
Okay.
history in the UK. I'll send you the article. And they had this up for free for a little bit, but oh my God, I thought the way that they handled the language and the complexity of the characters was stunning. And I love to see a reversal. So yeah, those. That's the women in Richard II.
So you said that you're, because you've been reading a lot, I've been reading a lot as well. Is there anything that, and we're talking about Shakespeare, so I was thinking, like, is there anything from Shakespeare that really resonated with you while we were going through all of this mess with the pandemic and everything? There are some specific messages that you were like rediscovering about Shakespeare. You were like, okay, this is important for me to reconnect with right now.
To be honest, I don't know if there's like a specific play or line, but if you read Shakespeare and you play Shakespeare and you act Shakespeare, I think what he asks of you is a deep examination of what it means to be a human being and what it means to encounter the storms of life, and how to question who we are and what we're doing in this world. So I think he just commands you to really look inside your inner truth. These are not surface characters, even when they are people who are trying, they are on a quest for knowledge. They are in a quest to understand their deeper truth of who they are. So in that context, that's where I think we started, where I was like, felt compelled to do Romeo, to do Quarantine Romeo. The idea of him trying to reach Juliet, trying to reach the thing that he loves so much, whether it's theater or connecting with the love of his life, but can't do it because, of course, he's a monster in a Capulet, and if he jumps over, he's going to be killed. But I think the spirit of that, I think, has led me in the spirit of what I'm talking about right now, and what this masterclass is about right now, and about this moment in our political world is right now.
Right. So do you believe in a way that the Shakespeare is a spiritual writer? There's an element of spirituality, since you're much inspired by him and also you're venturing into these themes.
Right off, I'd say absolutely 100% that he's a spiritual writer. You know, there is a difference, of course, between religion and spirituality. In this context, yes.
Of course, yeah.
The spirituality is really the context of the inner soul, is the inner spirit, the inner voice within. I think absolutely, I think that's what the soliloquies are about. I mean, the great chain of being, you know, there is obviously a God working out the context of what's going on in our lives, and whether or not we question or believe in it, I think that's the cool, fun stuff of what his plays can be about. So 100%, yes. Look at Measure for Measure. My God, that play is all about questioning figures and spiritual context, etc.
Right. What are your other big inspiration in terms of writers for theater or actors that inspired you, or anything else that helps your craft and you as a human being?
Thank you. One of the few books that I've read, Faye Simpson has a book called The Lucid Body, and she has a fabulous workshop. You guys should check it out as well, called The Lucid Body Technique, that you can go online for.
The Lucid Body, okay.
The Lucid Body, and you check out that book. That was very inspiring to the work that I was looking into. Stella Adler forever, always Stella Adler. Any documentary and book. I highly recommend this one. It's called The Technique of Acting. And she's just, I don't know, I'm just obsessed with her and everything that she is. She's just explicit and direct and fabulous. Cecily Berry is an extraordinary voice and speech coach and teacher. This is called The Actor and the Text. Incredible gems of knowledge in this one for sure. And it really kind of inspired my masterclass, these books, because what I love about it is that it's essentially what these techniques are about is getting out of our heads and into our bodies. And that is not to say like, okay, stop thinking. Obviously we need to analyze and dissect, but for me, the core of it is to get access to, you know, the stuff that's inside of us. You kind of have to access more the intuitive brain, the intuitive mind that works with the imagination and is fueled by the energy dynamics that are within us. Right. And not necessarily pulled from the outside, but it's something that radiates from within you. Your truth and your point of view is, you got all the stuff already, but the goal, of course, is for us to get in touch, recognize it, and then unblock it so that we can surrender and go full speed ahead with what you have, with just audacity and courage and just love. Sorry, I get off.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I really do believe that people who will join your masterclass could be very transformational for them, because these are things that we need to explore right now, always. But I do believe that this kind of like frame time we've been suspended a little bit out of our usual, you know, fast-paced lives that we were leading before, and as really a moment to internalize our journeys and to step into a new sense of evolution as human beings. That was our thought when we created the Creativity Will Save Us series, because we felt that something was changing and has changed, and we need to accept change as a tool of transformation, either than something like, oh, our lives will never be the same. Maybe they will never be the same, but they will be better. So this is, I think that's what your mission as a creator, as an artist, and all the artists, that's why we say also with Creative Pois-On, to businessmen, like you explore your creativity, even though you might think you're not creative. Those tools that we have, that we are born with, creativity, imagination, can really change the game for you, even in your, you know, even if you're in Wall Street or stuff like that. So thank you, Anthony, for presenting your masterclass, and also for your pearls of wisdom and those interesting books that I would love to go and explore. And so again, let's repeat for the audience that's following us right now where they can sign up for the masterclass, and also the dates when they're going to be on.
The masterclass is called Acting in Spiritual Principle, and it's going to be on February 9th. From 7 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can sign up for that in my bio. There's a link to register and get more information about the class. Before I head off, I just want to say thank you, Tommaso, to you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
A platform for many of us creative artists, musicians, and stage actors as well. It's inspiring, and it's a pleasure to be among one of them with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to share before we conclude the conversation? I
don't. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you. Have a great day and a great masterclass. Good luck with that. Okay. Ciao. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Quick announcement. On February 9th, I'll be teaching a masterclass called Acting in Spiritual Principle. This is a 90-minute masterclass. Essentially, this is acting from the soul. I hope to see you there.
Faith within your hands. Faith within your hands. Faith within your